The United States has 3.5 million homeless each year, according to Homemade.com. My name is Frank Ostmeyer, and today I'm going to be telling you why you need to support Watered Gardens and its mission to spread the True Charity Initiative throughout the United States in order to help alleviate the problems of homelessness. Now, the National Coalition for the Homeless did a 2005 survey in which they found that there was no one main cause for homelessness. They found that severe and persistent mental disorders took up 16% of the population, of which 5 to 7% needed to be put in some sort of institution. They also found that deinstitutionalization caused veterans to make up 11% of the population. Deinstitutionalization is where people who are part of prisons, mental hospitals, or other severe institutions lose the ability to keep basic life skills in which they are no longer able to keep a job, pay bills, and do other basic needs that we normal people can do. They also found that unemployment and lack of affordable housing played a big role. In 2005, at a minimum wage job, workers would have to work 80 hours a week in order to afford housing and other amenities at 30% of their budget. That is the federal guideline for affordable housing. They also found that addiction took up 30% of the population. However, they continued to state that there is no accepted number, and some studies found that 65% of the population of homeless were affected by some sort of addiction. They also found that poverty-level families were especially liable to homelessness, in which if your car broke down, which you needed to get to your job, a $500 pay check would not be able to cover something like that. So anything that was of any significance would hurt you severely. They also found that domestic violence was an extremely big cause. They found that of the 24 cities they studied, 50% of them said that domestic violence was the #1 cause for homelessness, in which families would suddenly separate and leave each other with no real plan set forth. Now, there are many methods put in play for alleviating homelessness. There are mostly run by the government. There are federal housing assistance, in which the Center of Budget and Policy Priorities claimed that 4.8 million living units were government assisted. And they also claimed that it raised 4 million families out of poverty. Now, basically, in order to qualify for these needs of getting living assistance, you must be working full-time and be part-time student, or be a full-time student with part-time job. And you also have to have a dependent. So if you're married, you're good. But if you're a single male with no child, you're on your own. Also, there are public-run homeless shelters, which are pretty much the base for drug abuse. Now, the best kind that has worked out is private-run charities like Watered Gardens, where the True Charity Initiative is trying to take this idea of alleviating the government's expenditure of helping out the homeless and doing welfare by having local private companies and local churches take up and build a network in order to take care of the homeless and help alleviate the problems of poverty. They also Watered Gardens believes in a policy of having the homeless, in order to stay, they have to do some sort of work in order to get food and a bed. And they have found that the people who work have more pride and are happier than people who just receive handouts. Now, once again, the 3 easiest ways to become homeless are to either be in poverty, or to be a victim of domestic violence, or to be on drugs. It is very hard in order to find a way to prevent domestic violence and drugs. However, poverty can be solved by increasing the amount of scholarships and lowering the cost of attending colleges and allowing students to go and receive a higher education. Now, you can't make everyone go. You can lead a horse to water, but you cannot make it drink. That is very real. You can give people the money and all the means to go to college, but unless they want to, they won't be able to escape it. That's nothing we can really do. However, you can make it to where they can have the ability to go to college and get a great education and be able to get a job that will pay them enough to get them out of the poverty levels, to where if your car breaks down, you're done for and you lose your job and you're going to lose your house. Now, once again, the True Charity Initiative is run so that we can help alleviate this by having local organizations take the burden from the government, because the government is spending massive amounts of money on the homeless and other Medicare and welfare programs. And once again, there's no way to stop drugs. There's no way to stop domestic violence. Those have affected all classes of society throughout all of history. But what we can do is we can make it to where poverty is no longer a big issue. So I ask you to go to watergardens.org and donate either your time or your money in order to help us prevent the issue of homelessness.